Did my radio die? Yeah, my radio died. Need to charge it. I was playing some Gothic Industrial in part 1, but I can't do it right now. So anyway, we're talking about Karador Kami Chieftain, his power level. His power level, as I said in the other video, is about a 6 or a 7. Barring 12 cards, I could see Wizards taking this deck, taking my deck list, making 12 changes. 6 of them they would have to, because those are reserve list cards. But only changing 12 cards and issuing a Spirit Commander deck, a Precon, on par with the other Precons they're pushing out these days. So even though some of the cards in here are kind of slow, overall his power level is good. It's solid. He is kind of slow, and I've got a lot of things in here to kind of make up for that. But he's fun to play, and he's resilient, and he's on theme, and he has a focus. His focus is spirits. So let's put him there and get on with it. Burgeoning. Whenever any opponent plays land, if I have one in my hand, I can throw one down 2. Mari's weak. Creatures you control get +1/+1, and you double your mana production from your lands. And it's shiny. Burgrafter. 4 for a 2/2 that when I sacrifice it, I can give another creature +2/+2. How's that for crappy stats? How's that for? When was Kamigawa printed? 2004. So 20 years ago, this is what they were putting out. Think of what this would be now. Now he would probably be 2, maybe 3 mana with all the same abilities. 2/2, sack him, target creature gets +2/+2, and probably trample or something else too. I mean, Power Creep is a bastard. So anyway, he's also got Soul Shift. So when I sacrifice him, I can grab a spirit with CMC 3 or less, pull it on my graveyard, put it in my hand. So he helps me recover things like this guy. Morsel Cleric. I forgot the name. I do that a lot. Okay, Forest, nobody cares. Plunder Cleansing. So, give my creatures indestructibility with the other guy that I can't remember his name right now. And destroy all non-land permanents. Blow. Temple Garden. Yep. Life Spinner. He's kind of key. Let's talk about him in a minute. Sauver plus d'apte. So, survival of the fittest. Spend 1 green, toss a creature card from your graveyard, toss a creature card from your hand into the graveyard, search your library for a creature card, put in your hand. So, it directly feeds into what he's going to do, Karador, and I go search for a creature that I need at the time that I do it. Marsh Flats. Godless Shrine. Wrath of God. I'm glad I've got the 4th edition here. Yep. The art is fantastic. Overgrown Tomb. Baronet Kami. 5 for a 3/3 without trample, without reach, without anything else. Whenever you play Spirit Arcane spell, put a +1/+1 counter on target. 1 counter on 1 creature. For 5 mana. And he's only a 3/3. Yep. Kamigawa block. Hanakami. 1 in the green. So she's actually more efficient than Viridian Zealot. Viridian Zealot is double green for a 2/1 elf. With the 1 in the green, sacrifice him. No, I'm thinking of something else. I probably should have read the card before I started running my mouth. So I sacrifice her, return target arcane card from my graveyard to my hand. I don't have a lot of arcane cards. Mainly she's in here, so I've got a spirit that comes down quicker than 5 for a 3/3. Plus, it's Rebecca Gaea, and it's just beautiful art. So, Gagamaro, first to suffer. So 5 for a star star. Star star is equal to the number of cards in my hand. And then it's going 1 black and sacrifice him. All creatures get neg X, equal to the number of cards in my hand. So he's a walking board wipe that I can trigger at instant speed whenever somebody Are you threatening me? My name is Cornelio. Are you threatening me? Die! Alright. So, Sky Shard Claim, go through your library, yank out 2 forests, put them into play, untapped. You don't have to put them into play tapped. Now if it's Temple Garden and you want to put it into play tapped, well, that's on you. It's not Sky Shard Claim making you do it. It just goes and finds 2 forests, put them in play. Okay, there's 1. Sky Shard Claim found it. So, Yo Mama's Reach, Kodama's Reach. 2 and a green. So, actually, Hanakami can get this back because this is an arcane spell. So 2 and a green, go find 2 basic lands, put 1 in your hand, put 1 into play tapped, and shuffle. So she can bring this back. Karma Guide, 5 for a 2/2 flying, protection from black, echo 5. But when she comes into play, she brings a creature out of your graveyard to the battlefield. So with Karador, the trick is, of course, she's in the graveyard, something else is in the graveyard. You bring her back and she'll bring something else. You get 2 for the price of 1. And then if you don't pay the echo, she goes back, so next turn you can do it again. 2 for the price of 1. Swamp. Kokusho, I've got all the Abs and Kamigawa dragons here. I've got Yoshe, the Morning Star, Jogan, the Rising Star, Kokusho, the Evening Star. Just for the flavor of it, just to have all 3. Of the 3, Yosei and Kokusho are the most important to the deck strategy. Jugan is just there to kind of fill out the trifecta, because it would feel off not to have him. So Kokusho is still pretty expensive. This is one of the cards from Kamigawa that actually held a lot of its value. And the foils, my god, the foils are really expensive. So 6 for a 5/5 flyer, and when he dies, each opponent loses 5 life, and you get life equal to the life lost this way. It's not each opponent loses 5 life, you gain 5 life. No, none of that bullshit. You just drain them all for whatever you lost. And it's not hard to kill Kokusho in this deck. Written Catacomb, Special Land, nobody cares. Yep. Command Tower, nobody cares. Divinity of Pride. So this can be hard to cast. 5 white or 5 black for 4/4 lifelink flyer that gets +4/+4 as long as I have 20. Yeah, it feels dirty if I play him and it's kind of early in the game and I haven't taken too many hits. So I play him and he's an 8/8 flying lifelinker if I'm above 25 life. But he's a spirit. He fits the deck. He's aggressive. I like him. Okay, greater good. I love the 9th edition foil. I love the art on it. It's just fantastic. So, you have Kokusho play. Sack Kokusho. Draw 5. Throw away 3. Drain everybody for 5 each. What's not to love? Murmuring Bosk. Okay, here's the other tri-land. Of course, if I get white or black out of it, it does damage to me, and it will always come into play tapped because I have no tree folk in this deck. So when it comes into play, I have to show off a tree folk, or it comes into play tapped. And I've got no... I don't think there are any spirit tree folk, are there? Are there any tree? Probably not. Plains. This guy has saved my ass so many times, not even funny. So, White Spore Frog. If you've never heard of this guy and you're playing white, you might want to look him up. So, white for a 1/1, sack him, don't pay any mana, don't tap him, nothing, just sacrifice him. So he's ready to go from turn 1. and Fog. And then Karador can bring him back from 1 white, and he can sit around and Fog again. Alright, so let's talk about this. So we have Patriarch's Bidding, we have Life Spinner, sacrifice 3 spirits, search your library for legendary spirit card and put it into play. So the legendary creature I would go find is Inami, Death Aspect. When Inami, Death Aspect comes into play, you may search a library for any number of spirit cards, put them in your graveyard. If you do, shuffle. So if I feel like I'm in a good position, I can put Inami in play, rip all the spirits out of my library, put them in my graveyard, and then Patriarch's Bidding and get them all back. Yeah, they don't have haste. I should probably put a Concordant Crossroads in this deck, but I don't have one in the deck. I've got one, I just haven't in the deck. And he would come back too. So anyway, that's the Chief combo.
Sorry to disturb, but someone's calling.
Yeah, I'll get it later.
Okay.
I can hear it. Let's finish this up. Somebody's calling me. So, Eternal Dragon. I should probably put in something more efficient. So, 7 for a 5/5 flyer. And for 5, I can return him to my hand. But I can only do that during my upkeep. He also has Plane Cycling. So I can discard him from my hand, go search for my library for a plane, show it, and shuffle. But I just like having him in the deck. He's not as efficient as other things I could have. There's probably better spirits that I don't know about because I haven't been paying attention to any set really after Olivia's wedding. So after Olivia's wedding, things just got crazy. They were printing like mad. Too much is coming too fast, too close together, so I just gave up. I would just see random cards and think, okay, that's cool, I'll get that card. But I didn't really check spoilers, I didn't bother with the sets. So there is probably something better than Eternal Dragon, but I do not know what it would be. If you know, tell me. Okay, Hideous Laughter, instant speed. Board Wamp for small things. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn, and I can splice it onto an arcane spell for 5 if I'm casting another arcane spell, which is pretty unlikely. That's going to be a lot of mana. Mistful Plains. 1 tap. Put the bottom card of your put target card in your graveyard on the bottom of your library. Only if you have 2 or more white things. Lantern Chromatic Lantern. My lands can tap for any color. I can tap this for 1 mana of any color. Mana Fixing Rock. So, remember how we were talking about how slow Cockblock was? Look, 4, 3 and a green for a 2/1. No flying, no reach, nothing. Just 4 for 2 and flyer, that when it comes into play, draw a card. Whenever you play a Spirit Arcane spell, you can bounce her back to your hand, so you can spend 4 again to draw a card. So, it's slow, but it's Rebecca Gaea. It fits the deck. It's reliable. It will get me extra cards. It's just that mana cost for those stats. Kami of Ancient Law. He's got decent stats. He's a bear. 1 and a white for a 2/2. Sack him. Destroy an enchantment. Plains. Thawing Glaciers. So it comes into play tapped. And then you spend 1 and tap it after it untaps. Search your library for a basic land. Put that into play tapped. And then at the end of the turn bounces back to your hand. It's good with burgeoning. It's really good at the burgeoning because I can activate it on any turn, bounce it back to my hand, and if I have burgeoning play and somebody plays a land, then I can play Thawing Glaciers. It'll come into play tapped, but it will untap on my turn. I won't have to waste my land drop on my turn playing a tapped Thawing Glaciers. So Typically, if you see Burgeoning in one of my decks, Thawing Glaciers is there also. Typically. You'll say the Morning Star. So when he dies, somebody skips their next untap step, and then I get to tap up to 5 permanents they control. Other than that, 6 for a 5/5 flyer, so not too bad. About on par even today. You see no Planeswalkers in this deck, so I am safe running the Immortal Sun. 6. Players can activate Planeswalker's loyalty abilities. Doesn't bother me. Bingham by draw step, I get another card. My spells cost 1 less, and creatures I control get +1/+1. So this hits all the right buttons for me and doesn't slow me down or stop me at all. Thief of Hope. So 3 for a 2/2, so these are okay stats, not bad. Whenever you play a Spirit Arcane spell, target opponent, not you drain an opponent whenever you play a Spirit Arcane. So basically he's kind of like Blood Artist, except it's when you play the creatures, not when they die. And it's when you play your creatures, not when anybody plays a Spirit or Arcane spell. That would be really interesting if he triggered on any Spirit coming into play. Really interesting. Other than that, he's got Soul Shift 2. So if he dies, I can pull a Spirit that costs 2 or less from a graveyard back to my hand. Plains, Forest, Long Forgotten Gaea. So my Arcane spells cost 1 less to play, and Spirits I control get +1/+1. So great for the theme of the deck. Aura Shards. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under my control, I may blow up an artifact or enchantment. You should look up the foil price of this. This is really expensive. And they haven't reprinted it for a long time. I think this Commander set is the last time they reprinted it, and that was about 10 years ago. I think it's something they just don't want to do anymore. But it's still cheap. Still not worth anything non-foil. But the foil, my god, I would love to have one, but I'm not spending that kind of money on it. Vindicate. Destroy target permanent. Ethereal Absolution 6. Costs a lot, but my creatures get +1/+1. My opponent's creatures get -1/-1. And this is another reason taking up Bojuka Bog I think I can get away with. So 2 black-white, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard, any card. But if it was a creature, I get a 1/1 black and white spirit creature token flying. So a little bit of graveyard control and some asymmetrical effects that work nice with the deck. Rend Flesh, 3, instant arcane, destroy target non-spirit creature. Blow. Ancient Tomb, I need to be fast somehow, so a little bit of damage to myself to play my things quicker because they're so slow. Yeah, I'll do that. Plains. Gavany Township. So I've got the Cauldron of Souls, and if my creatures come into play with persist counters, I kind of want some more ways of getting rid of those. So if I spend 4, tap this, they all get a +1/+ counter, which negates the persist counters. Or I just give them +1/+1 counters and smash face. Anyway, so that's Karador. Let me know if you agree with my assessment that he is a solid 6 or 7 on the power scale, and that he's not lower or higher, and if you think he's on par with the precons they're printing these days. I'm really curious to see what all of you think. Anyway, cheers.